Welcome to another Seasons in Garden video. It's been quite a long time since I did a video. And the reason is because, quite frankly, I don't think that I had any content to make. And I don't like to make content for the sake of content, so yeah. And I also did record some propagation videos, but one of them is not, well, at least one of them is not ready yet. Actually, more of them are not yet ready. So I have the one that I have to finish for propagating fuchsias, hardy fuchsias, that I've done last year. And we even, on one of my last videos, we even transplanted those into the pots. The other ones I had forgotten to transplant, so they stayed in their little pot for like almost a year. I actually transplanted them now, and yeah, so they're barely alive. But nevertheless, there's still a couple of them that are alive. I also started a video for propagating the, what's it called, Russian sage, Petrovskia, by layering them. And that takes a while, and I didn't realize how long it takes, because currently it's been almost a year, and the last entire year the roots weren't formed, so there was no video for me to publish because the roots weren't formed. So I cannot tell you that it worked unless it's rooted, you know. I will check it now, and it should be rooted either now, or at least it should have some roots. Yeah, and what else? I did make some videos, but quite frankly I didn't think that they were good quality. Like for instance, I did make a video for propagating peonies via the root cuttings, but my camera kept falling, and when I was putting them in the containers, and it was just so shaky that it made me literally sick when I was looking at the video, as in because of all of the movements. So I'm not going to actually publish that video. I will create a new one. I was hoping to have it done this week, but I ended up being sick, so that got postponed. So now I hope to do it next week, so that you see how the peonies are very easily, in reality, they are very easy to propagate. I was afraid of propagating them, and then, you know, my mom said, like, you know what, these are like weeds. Even if you transplant them to another spot, they're bound to come back to their original spot. And I did that with one peony, and guess what, my mom was right. So, oh yeah, and by the way, those are herbaceous peonies. Those are not the what are they called, tree peonies, bush peonies, I'm not sure, but yeah, so these are herbaceous peonies. And oh boy, I thought that I transplanted all of it, and then it came and popped up again. But okay, I don't mind. The more the merrier, right? So I will do the same, well, not transplant them, but actually propagate the red ones. I already propagated the white ones, and they should, maybe I will have a flower or two on the new ones, but they have rooted, the new leaves are just coming up, and it's looking good, so that's fine. I did manage to destroy a lot of my cuttings. Like, I have no idea why I did that. I knew better, but I wanted to finish some videos, and then I never got to the point to transplant them, to show you the roots and all blah 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 blah. And I just left them in their containers for like 6 months, and of course they died. Don't ask me why I did it. I have no idea why. I know better, but still. Anyhow, the new gardening year is started. As you have noticed, there were no videos from the new garden because the new garden isn't done yet at all. As I said before, I gave the project to the landscape designer so that we also get the papers so that the garden is completely improved, because it's going to be shown on the YouTube and internet. I cannot afford to get an incredible fine because I didn't have the project and I didn't have the approval for the garden that's on the slope. Since the entire garden is sloped, this means that for everything that I do, all of the terracing in the garden, I need to have the permit. In theory, and some people say that I don't need a permit because all of the terraces are below 1 meter, and you can actually build a terrace up to 1.5 meters of height. But I would still like to make sure that I don't get the fine because for some reason, because half of the people that I talk to say you don't need a permit, half of the people that I talk to say you need a permit. So since it's not 100% clear whether I need it or not, it's better to get it. But the work on the front of the garden that already has permit hasn't been started because of the builder's chaos. It was so the entire autumn and winter were wasted waiting on the people. So first we had to wait for the water guys to come and to connect our basically our what's it called, Grundstück, our not area but our land to the main water, and which, man, I'm now so, I have to admit that I'm so jealous about people that are like off grid now, because that was like a fight that shouldn't have been such a big fight, but it ended up being like that. And then they showed up too late. They actually didn't say a week before or 2 weeks before when they are coming, so they have literally called me after they have done work for 1 day and said like, yeah, we forgot to mention, but we will be working today and tomorrow, and it should be done, and you can call your digging guy so that he comes and he does all of the work that he needs. When I called the guy with the diggers who's doing all of the underground stuff, he couldn't show because, of course, since he didn't know when these are coming, he took on another project. That project needed to be finished before the winter, before the snow, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, he had to wait until end of January, beginning of February, and even at that point we were basically fighting snow and rain and stuff like that, so it was a bit nasty. But he only, right now, what he did was the installation part, and we didn't do the garden part because we found out in the, when was it? In January, end of January, that we have to pay copious of money for some work in our apartment, so fixing of the water pipes and stuff like that. It's an entire project for the entire building, so what they do is they just leave the money of your account and it's in thousands of euros and they just lift all of it, and you need to have the money at that point when they are lifting it, because they just take the money, and it doesn't matter if how much the entire work costs, because they do their approximations, which quite frankly are too expensive, to be honest. There's just no, I mean, it's just a bit of a ludicrous price, and I don't even care about that pricing, because I'm going to pay for my own tiles, because I don't want to pay for 40 euros per 1 square meter per tile when I can get very nice looking tiles for like 16 euros or maybe even less. So yeah, that's it for the update. So what I want to do today on this video is this, and that is, I have bought some, of course I have bought new seeds, you know, how else. So I have here the seeds for the patisson courgette or zucchini. These are the little flying salsa ones. They're beautiful. I really like to eat them. They're very tasty, and I'm going to plant this one this year. I've also bought some flower seeds because I need flowers in the garden. So I bought these kind of like a mix of, I forgot what they're called, cornflowers, whatnot. And I also have some beans, some cherry tomatoes, snapdragons, what else? So these are the asters and lobelias, and also some daisies that are actually 2 year. That are not 1 year, but they are biennials. So they will only flower next year. I don't know why I didn't read the label that they are. No, it's just I'm a chaos. Honestly, I'm chaos. So anyway, besides this, I also have my trusty little toilet roll box, because this is actually what I found the best for the transplanting of the plants, because by the time that the plants are ready to transplant, the little rolls are almost falling apart and almost decomposed. So I just take the plant and I put it directly into the ground, and I don't have to worry about damaging any roots and stuff like that. So yeah. And I have something else that I'm definitely not sure it will work, but I'm going to try. It says that it's echinacea, but it's not in echinacea, it's something, I forgot what the name is. It looks like those little sunflowers, I don't know, like short sunflowers, maybe I find the image and show it, that I got from my grandma when she was alive. So these are quite old, and I'm not sure if they will work, but I will still try to sow them, and then we'll see what the outcome is. I may even put part of it into the fringe to sort of get them cool, and maybe this will also help with the germination, but I'm just not sure how much of germination I will have. However, whatever is there and germinates, that's good enough for me. So I'll just put my little toilet rolls like so, and fill them with dirt, and then we're going to do some sowing. Right, so now that I have my toilet rolls all filled with the soil, I can start. I'm not using any special soil mix, and I'm definitely not using the starter mix, because I found it that when I use the starter mix, I have the worst results. Like, even though this soil isn't sterilized or, done for the seedlings and stuff, it works better for me. And I also don't really do a lot of thinking about the soil. The only thing that I'm mindful of is that it actually looks like soil and not like mulch. Because a lot of time, if you use a peat-free soil, you have an issue that it's basically mulch. You can just peat-free soil that looks like mulch, you can literally use as a mulch, and it will almost look the same. So this is the only thing that I take care of, so that the soil is, fine enough, because otherwise it just dries out super fast. Now, another thing that I don't care about, and that's on purpose, I don't know if you see it, but I don't really care about not getting the soil between the toilet rolls, because over the years of planting it this way, I found out that if I let the soil go between the toilet rolls, it sort of adds a bit more nutrients, and the plants really like that once when they are grown enough, so to say. And also, like I say, I do this so that I don't have to first seed the plant, and then when the seedlings are transplanted, because in a lot of cases I would break the seedling no matter how careful I was. When I was transplanting them up, I would destroy them. And this is my way of making the least amount of issues for my little transplants. So now that I have my coffee and I have my toilet rolls, we can start. So, okay, one more thing, you can notice that these are lower than these. And that's because these are the normal toilet rolls, so all of these short ones. And these big ones are actually these cut in half, approximately. They are the kitchen towel rolls. And this is what I also noticed, and it's from my own experience, that when I'm planting the stuff like tomatoes, if I plant them in these tall ones, in the kitchen towel rolls, that they're way more happy than if I plant them in these, because here they have more nutrients just because of the size, but also for some reason, I'm not sure why, but the roots end up better in these ones than in the short ones. Not sure why. Anyhow, I will use this one for the tomatoes, and I will also use them for the bush beans, because these are the ones that I'm planting this year. I had a lot of success with them last year, and we had several lunches from like 5 or 6 plants that I've grown. So I want to plant these again. And I will also use the zucchini, flying sausage zucchini, I will plant them in these big ones. So this is what I will start with, and then the rest of these are actually going to be flowers, especially because these flowers can, even though they're not winter hardy, they can still go outside now, and I will just take care that there's no hard frost. Also, you might think that this is like, since it's like towards the end of the March and the first day of spring has passed, you might think that it's a bit too late for sowing, but what I can tell you is that even though they say that our last frost date is the 1st of May, it's never the 1st of May. So I have no idea who said that the last frost date is 1st of May, because the last frost date in my experience was always 10th of May. So I don't transplant anything in the garden before 15th of May. And when we move to the house and I have my house garden ready, I will most likely then transplant things around 1st of June. Because it just doesn't make any sense to do it before. It just, you think that the frost has passed and it all looks nice and sunny, and then all of a sudden around the 8th or 10th of May you have like -3 Celsius degrees and hard frost and everything is dead. So I've lost enough tomatoes to understand that the 1st of May as the last frost day is just, quite frankly, bullshit. Okay, so I have put 3 of the seeds over here, and as always, since I'm lazy, I'm not going to mark them. I don't know why I do it. It's always smart to mark. Don't do what I do as I say. But yeah. So moving on to some tomatoes. Let's see how much seeds we have here. It's a very small amount of seeds. Oh, literally. I think there might be 10 of them. Right. So let's go. Oh, this one. And even though it's time consuming and annoying, I try to put 1 to 2 seeds per toilet roll, because I hate culling seedlings. That's why I put 1 to 2, because it's just the minimal damage, minimal amount of culling needed. I think I put these 2 right. So I'm going to put the beans in the rest, also in the small ones, so that these are all the veggie ones, and then this can be the I don't put beans into the water before I plant them, and this might be an error in my ways, but I just don't. I'm lazy. I'm like that. I'm a lazy gardener in a lot of ways when it comes to the new plants and to seedlings, and apparently also to keeping the plants alive. But that's because most of the time I'm just, not worried as much. I know that the seedlings are bound to die, whether it's because of me or soil or usually me. So I don't stress about it, and that might be a problem. Oh, look, the perfect number of veg. So again, as I say, right as I do, you'll probably have a better success than me. Or do as me if you don't give a shit and are relaxed about it. Right, so now let's do the little flowers. I found out that these ones, the snapdragons, even though there's a whole bunch of snails in my garden, they do very well. The snails actually leave them alone. So in case you have a snail evasion, this is what you can use. Now asters, I also had some success with them, and lobelias, they don't touch them like at all. I bought a tray of lobelias last year that were like those dark blue ones. They should be a bit smaller ones. Sorry, a bit lighter blue. I wish I had darker ones, but okay. And the snails just, they will eat anything else around them, but these they won't touch. So these two plants have proven excellent in my garden that's filled with snails and slugs. Slugs also won't touch them for some reason. I don't know why, but they don't like these plants. Asters, I think so, but asters, I will see. These are like not the hardy type. I have hardy type in my garden, and these, the hardy type ones, they don't really touch them. I don't know if because when the asters start growing, it's already late in the season and they're just full of some other stuff, or it's because they just don't like them. So that's one thing that I could never understand, but yeah. So I'm just planting the flowers that I know will actually work for me. Okay, now this is one other reason why I like to use the toilet rolls and why I find them good, and that is because I can just water them from below. And what the toilet rolls do, they suck up the moisture and they actually take it all the way up. There is sort of are act like little wicks. The only thing is that I have to put in the entire this one entire, I cannot remember what it's called. Watering thingy, and I'm putting it on the sides, and I will also put a little bit on the middle, sorry, because I want to make sure that everything is very well saturated so that it doesn't have any issues with this looks like a seed. So that it's completely all saturated with water and that the toilet rolls are completely wet. And then I'm gonna put it on my windowsill and I'm gonna leave it to grow because it's how you do. So anyhow, I will post some results in my shorts and then you will see how they are growing. And until then, I say bye bye.